Hey guys, today we're driving the 2022 Hyundai Kona N-Line. Not the Kona N. This has a 1.6 liter turbocharged four-cylinder. It makes 195 horsepower. This one that we're driving today is all-wheel drive, however. That's connected to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. We have a lockable center differential for 50-50 torque split front and rear. This also comes in front-wheel drive. That front-wheel drive model starts around $26,000. This is about 28 grand. We have slightly revised suspension, 18-inch wheels, a sporty, fully digital gauge cluster, some interior trimming, but otherwise, this N-Line Kona is just a bit of an appearance package. It looks sharp though. Let's walk you around this, show you what it looks like inside and out, and talk about how it drives. We also have a Harman Kardon sound system. Slightly different seats with different stitching, a little M logo there. I've got to admit, I'm a little bit confused as to what N-Line means in the Hyundai lineup. On one hand, you have the Sonata N-Line, which has a 2.5 liter turbo that makes 290 horsepower, has a different engine from the rest of the Sonata lineup, and it's a very good sport sedan. It's been specifically tuned and modified, and really, I think, brings a lot of prestige to the N brand. This, on the other hand, is also called N-Line, and it really isn't much more than an appearance package. So I'm kind of a little bit perplexed as to what Hyundai is trying to do with this Kona. It is a nice overall package, but I think for what it offers, it's also a little bit expensive. You could get a Civic Si for this type of money, and I'm not sure this offers a similarly enthusiastic driving experience. It is all-wheel drive though. It does have a compact spare tire in the back, along with a jack and some accessories. And I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a Veloster R-Spec replacement? I don't know. The Kona does have nice packaging. It's quite compact, but makes for pretty good use of its interior space. Let's hop on the other side and we'll show you back seat room. We get these 18-inch wheels with 235/45 R18 Goodyear tires. It is a cool, funky looking little crossover. I like the headlight design. Looks pretty good in this white too. A little bit cramped in the back seat, but for a vehicle in this class, nothing too out of the ordinary. I'm 5'10", sat behind myself. I fit okay in here. It feels about like a Mazda CX-30, maybe a little bit tighter. Nice looking interior, decent materials. Apple CarPlay looks good. We have wireless charging, heated seats, a few different drive modes to select from. Got a center armrest here. Pretty Spartan in the back, no USB ports or anything like that. We do get a sunroof. Let's take a look under the hood. This is pretty fuel efficient, rated for 27 miles to the gallon in the city, 32 miles to the gallon on the highway from this 1.6 liter turbo. Again, that makes 195 horsepower. Lots of direct injector noise there when you open the hood. All right, let's hop inside, show you around the interior a little bit more, and then we'll take this for a drive. I love the ergonomics and button layout of this interior. Very user-friendly, lots of physical controls. We have a nice touchscreen here for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Quick access controls for our map, navigation, a favorites button. Lots of options and customizability. We'll just leave it on Apple CarPlay. Physical control here to adjust our gauge cluster illumination. We have a hill descent control over there and a traction control off button. The Kona is kind of this funky lifted hatchback with a little bit of off-road capability. I believe it has around 7 inches of ground clearance, so not too bad. We get a little reverse camera there, and then it shows us a second screen here with what I feel like should be a 360 cam, but not spec'd in this trim of the Kona. So we've driven a lot of Hyundai products with this 7-speed dual clutch. This drives mostly the same. It is not as sporty of a tune in this Kona N-Line as it is in the Elantra or some other versions of the Hyundai Performance lineup. It's a little bit of a sluggish dual clutch. Once it gets going, once you're into the power, it seems to shift pretty quickly. And unfortunately, we don't get paddle shifters behind the wheel either, which is also a little bit perplexing to me, considering this is the N line. Engine doesn't sound particularly inspiring. There is a sport mode though for the transmission. That'll keep your revs a little bit higher. You can manually select your gears with plus and minus shift pattern. As far as smoothness and drivability goes, this dual clutch is pretty nice to drive under normal circumstances. Just that initial throttle tip-in is a little bit delayed with this. Power's pretty peaky. Turn signal volume is kind of loud. Let's see how this all-wheel drive system hooks up. Seems to put its power down nicely. Ooh, yeah. Definitely not the fastest vehicle in this category. I feel like that 195 horsepower is weighed down a little bit by the all-wheel drive system. But I feel like it is enough power to warrant an all-wheel drive system, and it is nice to get that if that's something that you need. A little bit of road and wind noise on the highway, but overall not too bad. Highway driving assist in this Kona N-Line works awesome. It's a fantastic system. Keeps you nicely centered between the lines. Lasts a very long time, 30 to 45 seconds before prompting you to put your hands back on the wheel. Definitely a highlight in this Kona N-Line. Easily turn it on or off pressing this button right here. Cruise control is super easy. You can skip 5-mile-an-hour increments by holding the buttons. All pretty straightforward. Very familiar Hyundai switchgear on the steering wheel. Works great. One of the best systems on the market for driving assistance systems. Alright, so I think this Kona N-Line is just a little bit of a warmer appearance package for the Kona. It's okay value. It's a little bit expensive, but if you factor in that this has all-wheel drive and all of the features, it's, I guess, not too bad. Still getting in under $30,000. I am very excited to drive the Kona N because I have heard that is just a riot. We're getting one in later this summer, but I feel like everyone else on the team has driven one besides me and spent a lot of time on track and on the street with them. I do like what the Kona offers. It is a fun to drive, neat little package. It's kind of this nimble city lifted hatchback, and I like the idea behind that. But this, as an enthusiast option, I'm not sure if it quite delivers what I was expecting, which I guess is okay. Handle pretty well. Steering has a reasonable amount of feel around corners. It's a little bit springy on center. It's definitely quick enough, but I would like some pair of paddle shifters behind the wheel, just for a little bit extra control over the 7-speed dual clutch. Alright guys, so those are some thoughts on the Kona N-Line. I've got to admit, a little bit of a disappointment. I was expecting more N treatment with this N-Line. Hyundai's usually pretty good about that, but in this I feel like it's falling a little bit short of expectations. let's test out this Harman Kardon sound system. We'll go into our sound system test playlist and see what this is like. We get a volume and tune scroll knob, which is great. Harman Kardon sounds nice. Engine and gearbox tuning definitely sharpen up a little bit in sport mode. You have the options between normal, sport, and smart. Honestly though, not much of a difference in sound or engine volume between normal and sport mode. It's more of a gearbox and engine tuning change. Ride quality is decent, pretty well damped for having 18-inch wheels and sport-tuned suspension. Definitely a lot softer than some other options that could be cross-shopped in this segment. Much more comfortable than the Civic Si, not as bouncy. And even though this has a short wheelbase, I think ride's pretty good. Feels like a Kona on 18-inch wheels. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this one on the Kona N-Line. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. Very excited to drive a Kona N someday. This is a fun little car, it's a fun little platform, and I feel like that would just be the full realization of this car's potential. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.